The U.S. says it has destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near the Strait of Hormuz after Iran threatened to block oil exports from the waterway responsible for a fifth of global energy transports. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump warned Tehran of unprecedented intense attacks if it moved to restrict the strait to further destabilize global energy markets, which have already experienced volatility during the war. On Tuesday, senior Iranian lawmakers warned that the Strait of Hormuz will either be a strait of peace and prosperity for all, or a, quote, strait of punishment for warmongers. Washington's attacks late on Tuesday closed out day 11 of the war, which many, including residents of Tehran, have described as the most intense day yet. The Israeli army throughout the day targeted multiple locations across the Persian nation as it looks to eliminate the country's offensive posture. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will continue to strike Iran for as long as necessary until it no longer poses a threat to his country. The IDF is also continuing to carry out wide-scale operations across neighboring Lebanon on targets it claims are linked to the Iran-backed Hezbollah group. Tehran is continuing to retaliate, with Tuesday seeing multiple barrages of drones and missiles fired at Israel and neighboring Gulf states hosting U.S. bases. Many in the region, including Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, reported attacks, which they say were intercepted. Air raid sirens also consistently sounded across multiple Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, with the IDF reporting steady streams of incoming Iranian fire throughout the day.
The International Energy Agency said that its member countries have agreed to release oil from its reserves in a response to the Iran war. The agency agreed to release 400 million oil barrels, the largest emergency oil distribution in its history.
This is a major action aiming to alleviate the immediate impacts of the disruption in markets. But, to be clear, the most important thing for a return to stable flows of oil and gas is the resumption of transit through the Strait of Hormuz.
The decision aims to bring down oil prices amid the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. Iran has effectively halted cargo traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, through which around a fifth of all oil is shipped from the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean. Germany, Austria, and Japan had already announced they would release parts of their oil reserves as well.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has underlined the European Union's commitment to international law and the multilateral system. This reminder came on Wednesday as she addressed the European Parliament in Strasbourg, and 2 days after she invited controversy by declaring the 27-member bloc could no longer be a custodian for the old world order, for a world that has gone and will not return.
Seeing the world as it is in no way diminishes our determination to fight for the world as we want it. The European Union was founded as a peace project. Our unwavering commitment to the pursuit of peace, to the principles of the UN Charter, and to international law are as central today as they were at our creation, and we will always uphold these principles.
Von der Leyen's controversial speech on Monday met a mixed reception. The Commission President's defenders said it was a much-needed dose of realpolitik, but critics said it risked giving permission for Europeans to turn a blind eye to legal breaches. The backdrop of the war in the Middle East, which has sharply split European capitals and fueled accusations that von der Leyen's diplomatic activities have seen her overstep her mandate, further amplified the uproar.
A bus fire has killed at least 6 people and injured several others in the Swiss town of Kerzers on Tuesday. The cause of the fire is not yet known, but investigation is underway to determine whether it was a deliberate act after an eyewitness indicated as much. A man inside the bus poured out petrol and set himself alight, a witness claimed in a video shared with Swiss media. Authorities said panicked passengers were seen escaping the burning vehicle. Police have opened a criminal investigation and appealed for witnesses to come forward.
Fantasporto has returned to its home of recent years, the Bataha Cinema, for the 46th edition of what is Porto's biggest film festival and one of the biggest in Portugal. The festival has two major competitive sections, one dedicated to fantasy cinema and the other to author films of all genres, the Director's Week. In the fantasy film category, the first prize went to an Argentine film, Encantador, a classic horror movie with many scares that won over the jury.
It's quite a classic film for its genre. A murderer who's kidnapped some women, and then the story is quite well told and within a very impressive actor performance as well. I think the atmosphere and also the production design was very well done.
Greek director Vasilis Mazamenos, already an iconic figure at the festival, has presented almost all of his films and takes home the Critics Award with Endless Land, a tribute to rural life and the lost traditions of the deep countryside.
Η ταινία δεν είναι διαφορετική. Η φόρμα της είναι διαφορετική. Οι ιδέες του μαζωμένου παραμένουν εκεί αναλύωτες. Πιστεύω ότι όσο και αν δεν φαίνεται με την πρώτη ματιά, ότι είναι μια πολιτική ταινία κι αυτή. Σε μια εποχή που ξαναζούμε τη φρίκη του πολέμου, η επιστροφή στις βασικές αρχές στον κύκλο της ζωής, αυτά που μας είχαν dιδάξει οι πρόγονοί μας και τα έχουμε απολέσει, είναι το πιο σημαντικό πράγμα.
In Batalha, the seventh art joins the art of Júlio Pomar.
Atrás de mim podem ver os frescos que foram pintados nos anos 1940 por Júlio Pomar. Durante cerca de 75 anos, pensou-se que estivessem irremediavelmente perdidos, até que foram recuperados há poucos anos por uma equipa de restauro. Os frescos foram, na altura, mandados tapar pela polícia política do regime de Salazar. Este cenário, aqui no Cinema Batalha, um dos históricos cinemas da cidade do Porto, é também, desde 2023, o cenário do Fantasporto, o festival que encerrou agora a 46ª edição ao premiar cinema de todo o mundo. Ricardo Figueira, Euronews, Porto.
Visitors to the Onassis Foundation in Greece have the opportunity to discover a different, lesser-known artistic side of Yorgos Lanthimos. The internationally acclaimed director and multi-award-winning master of moving images presents his deep passion for still photography through a major exhibition, aptly titled Photographs, featuring a total of 182 photographs.
Δεν ήξερα από την αρχή ότι θα με ενδιαφέρει τόσο πολύ αυτή καθεαυτή η φωτογραφία. Δηλαδή, άρχισα κι εγώ βάζοντας αυτό το πράγμα στο μυαλό μου, ότι τεχνικά έπρεπε να το μάθω και για να προχωρήσω σε αυτό που με ενδιαφέρε πιο πολύ, που ήταν ο κινηματογράφος. Και σιγά σιγά μέσα από τη διαδικασία του κινηματογράφου έπρεπε ούτως ή άλλως να χρησιμοποιώ τη φωτογραφία, αλλά μου έδινε και μία άλλη διέξοδο κατά τη διάρκεια της δημιουργίας των κινηματογραφικών ταινιών. Ένα ρολό φιλμ, να γυρίσεις σπίτι σου, να το εμφανίσεις και να τυπώσεις 2 φωτογραφίες και να τις κρατήσεις στο χέρι σου και να τις κοιτάξεις, έχει μια πολύ άμεση ικανοποίηση ή απογοήτευση όταν δεν τα έχεις πάει πολύ καλά, αλλά η ικανοποίηση είναι πολύ μεγάλη και άμεση σε σχέση πάλι με άλλα πράγματα.
The exhibition at the Onassis Foundation is divided into 4 sections. The first 3 focus on the places and people featured in his films, while the 4th, presented for the first time, consists of personal black and white photographs taken in Greece.
I think the most interesting thing, the most compelling thing about this show is the notion that you have this extraordinary cinematic master, and little known is the fact that in the last 5 or 6 years, he's been using a still camera as well. He's been making his own photographs alongside the sets of his films. But most significantly, he's also been making personal work. And there is a relationship between the cinema and the still photographs.
The photography exhibition by Yorgos Lanthimos at the Onassis Foundation in Athens runs until May 17.
Winnie the Pooh is that lovable everyman, right? We see the frustrations that he has waking up in the morning because we see that too. So he's a little bit of a mirror on all of us. He's lovable, he's affable, he's that kind-hearted, tubby little stuff full of pluff, that we all love to embrace and enjoy. And that's something that makes the character timeless, lovable, and just truly amazing.
Pooh definitely is a bringer of joy, and he's very, very calm. You never see Pooh get overly flustered. Even when he does get upset, there's a calmness to his demeanor, which I think most people really gravitate to.